Welcome to Unit 2 of AP Biology, and in this unit we're going to learn everything from cells and their function all the way to endosymbiosis. So please come and join our community. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them. The essential knowledge for today. So remember, the plasma membrane separates the internal environment from the external environment. And it does this is like water, oil, water. Okay, so it creates that separation between the two sides. Because this layer inside is hydrophobic or nonpolar, okay, it allows some substances to cross easily and some substances cannot cross. Okay, so small nonpolar molecules can cross very easily. So if you're small and you're nonpolar, you have no problem going through the cell membrane. If you are large, or if you're an ion, if I'm an ion, I can either be positively charged or negatively charged. Then I cannot cross the cell membrane. I need a protein, and I either need a channel protein, okay, or I need a transport protein. We're going to learn more about this in the coming lessons. And then finally, small polar uncharged molecules such as water can cross, but in very, very small amounts. And then cell walls provide the structure, okay? And it's barrier for some substances, but for AP, it's more important to understand that it prevents osmotic lysis. Okay. So some common misconceptions. The first misconception here is that all molecules can cross easily. No. Okay. So it has to do with the charge, the polarity of the substances, not just the size. So the size, the charge, the polarity, this will all determine if the molecule can pass directly or not. Water cannot cross the membranes at all. That is a very common misconception because water can cross because it's a very small polar molecule, okay? So it can cross, but it can cross very, very slowly. Cell walls are the same as plasma membranes? No. So cell walls are very rigid, and plasma membranes, they are very fluid. Okay, so a cell wall is just a rigid layer, and the plasma membrane is fluid and it's selectively permeable. And then the last one, only plants have cell walls? No. So plant cells have cell walls. Animal cells do not, fungi do, and bacteria also have cell walls. So they are found in 4 different types of organisms: bacteria, archaea, fungi, and plants. This is the exit task for today. So I want to encourage you to pause the video, complete it, and then go over the answers with me. Okay, now aquaporins. Aquaporins are these membrane proteins that we find, and they allow water to move across the plasma membrane more quickly. Okay, so this is the relative movement of water, and here we can see if the normal aquaporins, it is about 50 arbitrary units. If this aquaporin becomes mutated, meaning it's stuck open, a lot of water is moving into the cell. And if it's blocked, it doesn't mean that water would not cross, because water can cross the cell membrane, but it's going to cross the cell membrane in very low amounts. Okay. So the question here is, which cell type has the highest rate of water movement? And the highest rate of water movement would be the mutated aquaporins, because there's a mutation that causes these aquaporins to get stuck open, okay? So water just keeps on moving into the cell. So we can see that the cell type with the mutated aquaporins has the highest rate of water movement because it is stuck open. And the cell type with the lowest rate of water movement is the blocked aquaporin. So the shape of this aquaporin has changed, so it's blocked. No water can cross. So that's one for the blocked, and because it is closed. If the aquaporin shape changes, then it can either, so if the shape changes, it can do either of two things. It can either be stuck open or have a blocked shape. So the water can either increase going into cell or decrease because of these reasons. Okay. In a hypotonic environment, so hypotonic just means that water wants to go into the cell. So here I have an animal cell. This is a hypotonic environment, so water wants to go into this cell. Too much water entering the cell may do what? So that if too much water goes into the cell, it might swell and lyse, okay? Because water enters, and there's nothing to resist that expansion. So it can't resist the expansion because it doesn't have a cell wall. And a plant cell is less likely to burst because it has a cell wall that can protect it against that increased water intake. And that is the lesson for today. And I hope to see you for the next lesson. If you enjoyed today's lesson, please don't forget to like and subscribe and come join us on the Skool.com community page where you'll find AP Bio blueprints. And if you take a look inside, you will find that Unit 1 is completely free. See you there.